Welcome to the Defender Kentucky 3-day event presented by Mars Equestrian. This is your official cross-country preview. Derek, we're here at the Mars Sustainability Bay. This comes pretty early on in the 2025 course. Let's just talk a little bit about the course in general. Before we look at this fence, what can we expect this year?
Well, this year the direction has changed again from last year, and the feature fences will come up in a little bit of a different order, and you'll see a lot of single fences, new places, combinations will be quite different. The distances may be a hair longer than last year, but still right around 11 minutes and 20 seconds. So I think there'll be enough for them to look at this year.
How long have you been designing this course for? Do you remember?
Since 2011.
And is it hard to make it different each year?
For me, I like to always go into each year with a clean slate, basically try to come up with something that's different than the previous year. And you're always trying to find new ways to go through the park and new lines that you are trying to use and use the jumps and the features differently. And so it's a combination of a lot of things.
But there are definitely some things that are iconic and special to the Kentucky Horse Park, and it seems like Mars Sustainability Bay is one of those jumps. We do use it every year, don't we, in some way or form?
Yeah, no, this area gets used every year because between the actual water complex here and then the moguls, which are just below it, they both are used either going out or coming back in on the course.
So let's have a look at our first jump on the course that we're going to look at today in our sneak preview. Tell me a little bit, what number is it, how long have they been galloping for, and what should we expect?
Right, so this set of fences here, fence 4AB, the first three fences on the course, as usual, we'll get them out jumping, give them some nice straightforward fences to get them going. By the time they get here, they're a little over probably a minute and a half. And the big thing about when they come to this fence is there are a lot of people here and all around the whole complex here. And it's for a lot of horses, they come and it's quite eye-opening for them because they don't compete in front of a lot of people on a regular basis. And so the jump going in, this log, which they won't land in water, they'll land on the slope behind, but should be straightforward. But at the same time, it is their first water complex. They'll have plenty to look at, and so they'll jump in. When they land, they'll land right away. They'll have a fish which is in the water, which is a water-to-water fence, and then from there they'll immediately bend left, go up the slope, and then have a stump with some brush on top to take them out of this area. From here, they gallop all the way to the infield, and then onto fence 5, and then the next set of complexes on the infield.
And there is an alternative. Is that?
Really, the alternative here is only if they have a problem on the direct way at the direct stump. There is an alternate way which will sort of help them be able to carry on.
And you'd hope at this stage of the course they're keen to get on and you wouldn't be using that?
I would think that no one would be going there.
Great. Well, let's carry on.
Okay, very good.
So Derek, now we're at 6ABCD. This is the care credit question. Always an influential fence on course, and especially, I think, if you can tell me if I'm right, when it comes so early.
Oh, that's absolutely correct, because they've already had the Mars water. And so that was sort of like a warm-up, first combination, but then they had a single fence, and then they've had a bit of a gallop, and so then they come here, and they really do have to make sure that they have their horses ready and in gear, because coming into this fence, when we finish this, it's going to be brush, so it'll look quite a lot bigger than what it looks today. But the question is jumping over the brush, having the steep slope, having the ditch, and then right away back up and out over the other narrow brush going out. And so it all will come quite quickly. The horses have to be brave here, and the riders have to be in a good position to be ready for what might happen.
We're coming at it from a different direction. Usually when it's so early, we're going that way.
Yes, that's actually, we've had it before when it was early, it was coming the other direction, but this year we're going this way, and then right away after this fence, they'll have a little bit of a gallop and then quite a big triple bar, which they will jump, which will then take them up out of the infield. So a little bit of a different track this year.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
So we're at 14ABC. This is Pete's Hollow. It's about halfway along the course. Tell us a little bit about what you're testing the horse and rider on here.
Pete's Hollow has been on the track for quite a number of years, and this year we're approaching it in a little bit of a different way. It's at one of the highest points on the course, comes very close to the halfway point on the course, and this year they're going to have a very simple set of rails jumping in, but the key here is once they jump over the rails, they'll go straight down the slope into the bottom of the hollow, make an immediate right-hand turn, go right up a very steep slope, have a narrow set of triple rails at the top of that steep slope, and then right away making a right-hand bend to another set of narrow triple rails. And so all the way through, they're dealing with not only these very thin rails, which are all on frangible devices, but at the same time, they're dealing with the terrain here and the ups and the downs. And so I think that it'll be interesting to watch this ride.
And they've just had that long pull up the hill. Like you say, then they're going to jump downhill. Be careful not to activate that frangible device. The B element is right at the sort of lip of that mound up. Was that how long did you think about that? Because you could have been kinder and pressed it a little further away, or?
Oh no, it'll be interesting because they'll really have to ride forward up the slope, and the horses will have to be good with their feet when they get to the top and sort of find their way, and usually they do. I've had a fence up there a few years back, and typically it's ridden well.
Wonderful. With less than a month to go, we thought we'd take a quick break in our sneak preview to talk to Alec Lochore. He's the technical delegate this year. Alec, welcome back to Kentucky, and tell me a little bit about what your job will be, why you're here today, and what your job will be during the weekend of the competition.
My role really is to work collaboratively with the organisers and Derek, just to make sure that we're running within the rules, and that we all agree that the courses ride well. I mean, when you're working with a team as organised, as professional, as and experienced as this, then your role is somewhat easier than it might be otherwise.
And you have walked courses all over the world, and you run a lot of events yourself. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts of this course here.
Feels very nice, got a lovely flow. It's a proper 5-star track. There's wonderful undulations around the Kentucky Horse Park, so there's lots of features that Derek's able to tap into and use, and it has a really good feel about it. Any
particular combinations that stuck out on course for you today?
I think that this combination that we're at now, this is a very, very strong combination. Topographically, you're going down, and then you have to really be right up, but then you also have to be very positive as well. So you have to be accurate and positive and brave. So I think this is a real feature on the course.
And what's the best bit about being TD?
I really enjoy being part of a team, and you get to work with the course designers, and you get to work with the organisers. You work a lot with the ground juries when you're at the events. That's the bit I enjoy the most, is being part of a team. There's quite a lot of pressure on the day and in the build up to it as well, but you share those responsibilities, and so it's all about teamwork.
If you had to write home or tell someone that one thing about Kentucky that's special, what do you think that would be?
It's the event in North America, isn't it? It's got its history. It's in the state of Kentucky, which is so famous for the horse. So it's got so many things going for it. It's got so much history here. You've got to come and experience the sport in this part of the world to understand what this event means.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you here today and this weekend, and we hope to have you back the next 2 years.
Well, hopefully.
So we're now at 15 ABC. This is the root cellar. This comes directly after the hollow. What are we doing here, Derek?
Well, again, sort of a different type of an exercise, but they'll come around the turn, they'll I would imagine you'll see a lot of horses just pop to the trot and just pop down this bank here. It's quite a big drop.
It looks big from here, and I'm not even on top of a horse.
Yep. Right away, once they've dropped down, they'll have an immediate bend to the left to jump a cabin, which they'll probably be jumping on an angle because they'll need to line that up with another cabin, which will be directly ahead of them. It's really going to be the control and then getting their line here to be able to jump these cabins on the angles.
We've talked quite a lot about, during these combinations, about you'll jump this, you'll go to B, and you've never really mentioned how many strides. Is there a set number of strides, or is that something you want the riders to work out for themselves once they've landed in the middle?
Well, I think the riders are going to figure out what strides they want to do, and it's all going to be based on, I think, initially when they do their first walk, they're going to have a pretty good idea of what they want to do. But actually on the day, it's really going to depend on how the horse is feeling, what's actually happening underneath them, so that they can make that adjustment if they need to, because where it might be 6 or 7 strides on the day, it may be something completely different, just depending on what's going on.
This jump, it's hard not to sort of stand here teetering on the edge and not think of the leaf pit at Burley. Tell me about, because you have started designing the course at Burley too, is it difficult to keep the courses separate in your head, and do you sometimes maybe go to Burley and see the leaf pit and think, oh, I could maybe do something like that here?
I don't, because I actually don't really think of this as, because the one at Burley is quite a lot. It's quite a lot steeper than this one. I guess in some ways you could say the same idea, but the drop at Burley is quite a lot more, and so and just the setting around it is quite a lot different. So, but I think the idea of having a step down is good to have on the cross country, and you can do a number of different things on the bottom side of it.
Now we do roll on down to the head of the lake, right?
Yep, we're going to be the head of the lake comes in another couple of jumps. They actually will have quite a lot of galloping now between here and the head of the lake, and so I think it'll give them a good breather before they get to that, because that'll be quite a good effort there as well.
We're going to take a look at 22 ABC. This is the Kosaquin Cove. Derek, we're nearly home. That we can practically see the finished field in our sights, but instead of galloping straight home, you're going to turn them around and we're going to come through it this way. Yes,
this combination comes just past about 9.5 minutes on the course, so we are getting into the later stages, and just something really where they have to still do something. They have to be brave again, jumping over the log, go through the water. Once they're up the other side, they have a combination of 2 chevron brushes, which again they're going to have accuracy and be able just to make sure that the horses are going to be able to stay straight and keep going. And but I think the big thing is that the horses at this point in the course are really sort of know that they're almost home, but at the same time there's still work to do.
And how does that horse typically feel under you at this point?
Well,
what do the riders need to be aware of?
I think it depends on how fit your horse is. If you're on a fit one, I think that they're still going pretty well, but you don't want one to be feeling like they're getting tired because they still have to gallop up the hill here after this combination.
And what have they got left to do between here and the finish?
There's another combination, one more combination, and then some single fences, and so it's not a lot, but there is still some jumping to do.
And you've ridden here before. When you get this far around the course and it's going well, what's going through your mind?
You want to still have a clear round, especially if you're going well to this point. You really don't want to take any chances, and I think that you want to make sure you also are helping and supporting your horse from now till the finish, and to try to really finish well.
Great. Thank you for watching the official preview of the 2025 Defender Kentucky 3-day event presented by Mars Equestrian, the best weekend all year.